So Pokemon Legends ZA is the next brand new mainline Pokemon game coming out in 2025. And while we don't have really a ton of information about this game, other than the small little teaser video that we got on Pokemon Day inside of the Pokemon Presents, one of the biggest things that people have been wondering about is when exactly is this game even taking place? See, when Pokemon Legends Arceus was announced for the first time, they really mentioned how this game was taking place in the land of Sinnoh of old, and that it's an old-fashioned Pokemon game taking place in the ancient past where the concept of a Pokeball has just been recently invented, and wild Pokemon are still running crazy and are free, and they're really starting to take like the information of these Pokemon by surveying them and taking notes for them to compile together the region's very first Pokedex. And so ever since Pokemon Legends Arceus, whenever the discussion came up of the possibility of a future Legends game, we always just kind of expected it to take place in the past, just like Pokemon Legends Arceus, and that it would just be with some other region or some other generation in a different way. However, from that teaser that we got for Pokemon Legends ZA, many people are still curious as to when exactly this game is taking place because it doesn't really seem like there is a distinct answer right away that you can guarantee 100% this is exactly where this game is taking place, and that some people actually think that it's possible that this game might be even taking place in the future. And so there's really kind of a discussion to be had here, and that's really what we're going to be talking about in this video because I feel like there's arguments to be made for either side. And that's really the thing, is that Pokemon Legends Arceus was the first of its kind, and because of that there isn't really any specific rules for when the game has to take place, that a Pokemon Legends game has to mean that it has to take place in the past. I mean, even just the name of it, we were all wrong. Like, as soon as we heard Pokemon Legends Arceus, we all thought like, okay, now the future games are obviously going to be called like Pokemon Legends Victini, or Pokemon Legends Jirachi, Pokemon Legends Celebi, Pokemon Legends Kyurem. Like, those were the types of names that everybody was coming up with, because they used another legendary Pokemon in the title, like what they did with Arceus, and then GameFreak just proved all of us wrong by naming it something like Pokemon Legends ZA, like it's completely different from the previous Legends game. So there definitely isn't like a specific rule or anything. They really can get creative and do whatever they want. So I definitely feel like it shouldn't mean that just because Legends Arceus took place in the past, it guarantees that this game also is taking place in the past as well. So that's why there is a discussion to be had here. Now, officially, we don't have the answer to this yet, which is why I am making a video on it. We don't know, like, officially 100% confirmed as a fact if Pokemon Legends ZA is going to be taking place in the past or if it's going to be taking place in the future. So that's why I want to talk about this and kind of share with you guys why some people think differently for different aspects for it. And then I guess we'll just kind of see whenever they decide to give us the next trailer for the game, as I do feel like once they actually give us like a proper trailer and we see what the game looks like actually on the Nintendo Switch, we'll be able to kind of figure out exactly when the game is taking place. But for right now, it's kind of fun to just discuss the possibilities, so that's what we're going to be doing. So in terms of the reasons I've seen for why people think that Pokemon Legends ZA is going to take place in the past, one of them is just the teaser video that we got, where when it opens up and it shows us these sketches of the buildings that they have for the game, the design of these buildings actually matches a lot with what old-fashioned buildings look like in Paris from like the 18th century. And it's a big reason to kind of think that maybe this game could be taking place in the past, as they even kind of did this with Pokemon Legends Arceus, where they kind of gave us these sketches of like the old-fashioned buildings of like Jubilife Village when they first showed us that game. Now, if you didn't already know, a lot of things in Pokemon are inspired by the real world. Like, look at the Alola region, it's very easy to see that that region is based off of Hawaii. Obviously, even with the Kalos region, it's very easy to see that it is being based off of France, and that Lumiose City is representing Paris inside of the real world. And so even with Pokemon Legends Arceus, the Sinnoh region is actually based on the region of Hokkaido in Japan, and so there was actually an event that happened in the 1860s, which was the colonization of Hokkaido, where Japanese people were actually coming over there and taking over that new region, and until it became that region that we know today. And so it's really kind of representative of what happens in Pokemon Legends Arceus, where even if we take a look at the map of the Hisui region, you can see it's actually very similar to the map of Hokkaido, and so that whole time period of Legends Arceus would be taking place around like the 1860s, where people are taking over that area for the first time. Jubilife Village is born until it eventually becomes the Jubilife City that we have in modern day Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. And so if we incorporate this type of real life history with Pokemon Legends ZA, it will put us right here with Haussmann's renovation of Paris, which was a real event that happened, where it even says here, Haussmann's renovation of Lumiose City was a vast public works program commissioned by French Emperor Napoleon III, and it was between 1853 and 1870, right around the time that the Hisui region would also be taking place with Pokemon Legends Arceus. And this would mean that the types of Pokeballs and things that were invented inside of that game, the exact same things could be brought over into this game as well. The same types of Pokeballs, like where you throw them and the little steam comes out of them when you catch them and everything. They could bring over the exact same types of potions and revives and everything. So it would be very much similar to Pokemon Legends Arceus, and it would be taking place right around the same time. This was the exact same type of thing where it was a real life event, where this was basically kind of what they did to renovate all of Paris and make it into like the metropolis that it is today. So if it is actually being based off of a real life event, this would definitely be the perfect one that makes the most sense. But now switching over to the possibility of Pokemon Legends ZA taking place in the future, one of the things that I've seen people mentioning is also in that part with the teaser where it shows us like the buildings and kind of the sketches for the game. If we actually zoom into like the NPCs and the character models, we can kind of see that they are wearing modern clothing and not really kind of like the old-fashioned clothing designs that we saw with some of the characters in Pokemon Legends Arceus, where you can kind of see like the sun hats that they were wearing and things like that. It doesn't really seem like characters are wearing that type of thing inside of these sketches that we see for Lumiose City inside of Pokemon Legends ZA. So maybe this is taking place after, like maybe it's actually happening in modern day. That's definitely a possibility that I've seen some people talking about. And then going back to the buildings, it doesn't mean that the time period has to be there because those are old-fashioned buildings. I mean, those types of buildings still exist even today, even though we're still not in the 18th century. So it could just be a reference to that and that it is still taking place in modern day. The teaser also mentions how this is the redevelopment of Lumiose City, kind of implying that it's already been developed into a city before, but now they want to redevelop it into something even bigger, and that's why they have like this urban redevelopment plan that they've got going for it. Because the thing with Pokemon Legends Arceus was Jubilife City was still called Jubilife Village when it was taking place in the past, and then they turned it into Jubilife City inside of modern day Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. But with this, it's still called Lumiose City and not something like Lumiose Village or Lumiose Town or anything like that, which kind of implies that the city has already been made, but now they want to have like this urban redevelopment plan to really kind of remake the entire city into something even bigger and grander. And that also kind of goes along with what they say inside of the teaser, which they have a vision where it says a vision of beautiful coexistence between people and Pokemon. And so if this game was actually taking place in the past, then that would mean that the vision of beautiful coexistence between people and Pokemon would become the modern day Lumiose City that we have in Pokemon X and Y. And I don't know about you guys, but to me, modern day Lumiose City and X and Y doesn't really seem like a beautiful coexistence between people and Pokemon. I think what they're trying to do here is really kind of make it into like this amazing futuristic type of city where now you're gonna have like wild Pokemon maybe thriving inside of the city itself, having people living there with Pokemon too. Like they want to take it to the next level, I feel like. And I don't think that that's what modern day Lumiose City and X and Y is. So maybe that's why they do want to have like this urban redevelopment plan to make the city into something even bigger. And even if we want to tie this back to like current day events into like real history, even Paris right now wants to try to become like the most green kind of city inside of the entire world, where they're really talking about like kind of like their carbon emissions and things, I'm pretty sure, where like they said like by 2050 they want to become the most green city inside of the entire world, I'm pretty sure. So there's definitely things like that that they could also tie in to Pokemon Legends ZA2 if this game is taking place inside of the modern day. Another thing is also with the style of this teaser video, as there's a lot of like neon blue effects and stuff that's happening here, which definitely kind of does give it like that futuristic vibe, as I've seen a lot of people say that even with like the flashing like logos and animations that we see here, it really kind of looks more like a hologram or like a simulation, which definitely people would associate with something futuristic. And it definitely seems like this could be like a simulation for what they want like this modern futuristic Lumiose City to look like. On the other side though, I've also seen some people say that this is just a blueprint of what they want the modern day Lumiose City to look like with Pokemon X and Y, and the game is still taking place in the past, so it's really kind of up to you, I guess, for how you interpret this, because we really don't have a concrete answer as of yet. And then really the last thing is about the tweet that Nintendo made, where I'm honestly probably going to make an entire video just on this subject, but they put up a tweet here where they said here that Pokemon Legends ZA is going to take place entirely inside of Lumiose City, kind of implying that there wouldn't be like different wildlife or different areas and zones for you to be able to go and explore, but the entire game, like all the way from the title screen to the credits, is going to be taking place just inside of Lumiose City, which I feel like definitely would be kind of a little bit challenging to do if it's taking place in the past. Like if they're still developing the city, then I guess like it would just kind of be pretty generic with like different foundations for like where buildings are going to be in the future and stuff. But if it is taking place in modern Lumiose City, then now you can have like a lot of crazy back alleys to explore, a lot of different buildings and a lot of different areas to go to, and just having a huge city to have for the entirety of the game does seem like a lot of fun if it's taking place in modern day, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I've also seen a crazy theory, which I personally don't believe in, but it would be amazing if they actually did this, which is that Pokemon Legends ZA would be taking place in both the past and the future. And some people like to bring up the logo where they say here that the Z is representing like the future, where it kind of looks very futuristic. Like we even got like this hexagonal pattern here with like Zygarde and everything, and that the A would represent like the very beginning, where it's going to be like the past and like kind of the very first foundations. And it even seems like it's kind of like having like these organic roots coming out of it on the logo and stuff. So like they're kind of talking about like an Ocarina of Time type of game where like you're going back between past Lumiose City and then traveling back into the future and then looking at the changes that you've done in the past and stuff. That I feel like seems a little too ambitious for Pokemon, but man, it sounds like a really cool game to do something like that. But I don't think that that's what's going to happen, but it is a topic that I've seen some people mention as well. But yeah, the discussion of where exactly this game is going to take place in has been something that I've seen a lot of people talking about, so I figured I'd talk about it with you guys here as well and kind of just share my thoughts, because we really don't know for a fact if this game is going to be taking place in the past or the future, and I really feel like you can look at it from either way, so it is going to be interesting to see when we do get that next trailer for what exactly this game is going to be like. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, definitely be sure to click that like button and also subscribe to the channel, as well as I'm definitely going to have some more videos talking about Pokemon Legends ZA, so definitely be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Comment down below and let me know what you guys think about all of this. Do you guys think that Pokemon Legends ZA is going to be taking place in the past, or do you think that it's going to be taking place in the future? What do you guys think about everything? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. But if you don't have anything to say about this, just comment your favorite emoji down below for some engagement. I would really appreciate it. Go follow me on Twitter at Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.